Good evening, everyone. Well, it's a big day for Blue Origin for us. Apparently, on their third launch of New Glenn, they're going to be actually reusing a booster already. That's kind of cool, but they still can't get a break in Florida on that wastewater problem. We'll go over that. But also with them, we're going to offer you a real world example for space entrepreneurship and actual on the ground job creation. Meantime, D-Orbit has raised 124 million in a Series D, and it's only the first tranche. Wow. A Chinese firm wants to get into the suborbital tourism game, and a Chinese celebrity also wants to fly and is willing to put up some money. And scientists figured out how to track space debris on re-entry via sonic booms, but it remains to be seen how much that actually helps anybody. All this with our returning guest, the ever faithful and great guy, Joe Latrell. From the news desk, the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, my name is Thomas Andrew Olson, and this is The Unknown Quantity. And as you know, we are sponsored by the Center for Space Commerce and Finance. And what do? We champion and strengthen emerging space startups and space adjacent enterprises worldwide through advisory, access, and advocacy. Our pitch events and world-class boot camps fortify startups to be better investor ready. And we have great plans for this year in that regard. And a lot of our work, especially this podcast, is supported by our listeners and fans like you. So remember, the center is a 501c3 nonprofit, so just go to our website, cscf.space/support. Click that donate button and drop something in the tip jar. Thanks so much for all your help. And now my oldest space friend in the whole planet, Michael Lane, is here. Come on in, man.
Hey, how's things?
Good.
The whole planet, 8.2 billion people. And
I know.
I'm your favorite.
Who else is better? Hey. Who else is better? Come on. Come on.
Yay.
Oh, man. I know you're not feeling good. I know you've had a cold all weekend or something.
Yeah. Sinuses, the drill. You know the drill.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Veronica's here. Hey. Already.
Thank you, y'all.
She always has good questions, and Joe Latrell's going to like her. Let's, because I know she asks the right stuff for guys like this.
How's the weather treating y'all down there?
Actually, it got into the 80s over the weekend. And it's really? I know I had to turn on the air conditioner in January. That really pissed me off because this is the time of year I get to keep my electric bill reasonable. But it's God, it went up again. So I'm pissed off about that. But I don't know. The good news for me, the bad news for others is that we're going through it. We're going to have a cold spell. We're going to have starting later this week. We're going to have maybe low 30s at night, kind of things like that. So God, there are certain plants we have to move away from the pool area and stick it in this covered area. And I've got this little heater. You have to so it doesn't. They don't all are ruined. So that's going to be. Morty's got a foot of snow.
Morty's got a foot of snow. My God.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. It's not bad here. It's blue skies for us, which is pretty rare at the end of January.
I do feel so sorry for those nor'easters. I was there 18 years, and like this time every year it would get down to minus 15. I'd be shoveling snow in Pennsylvania. It's like,
Yep.
At least, so 34, I don't mind.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bother me because I know what July is going to be like again. So I'm just not going to complain about anything.
Right. It's sweater weather here, but we're all pretty good. Hey, Joe, Jason, Morty, Veronica, love you guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, we got some good folks here tonight. This is going to be fun. Yeah. We got a good guest for it too. He's always good for a lot of great things. and you guys got some things to talk about kind of together too. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So let's get this. This is, and I'm going to say it up front. I'm apologizing in advance to everybody. Today is probably the most sucko news day we've had since we started this podcast. We'll find something. But and there's tons and tons of space news. I go, this one source I have, my God, Space Today. I go through that, and it's so beautiful to go through. Incredible numbers and incredible articles, and most of it are totally irrelevant to what we do here on this show.
Right? Yeah, that's it.
And money.
Yeah,
there's great stuff. Oh God, but I can't do it.
There's nothing. Yeah. Even some of the things that we pick are like, that's a bit of a stretch. But let's get to it. We were tracking $1 billion deals.
Our listeners asleep, so let's get through it. Try to make fun of it and have a good time. Okay.
Right. We were tracking $1 billion deals, and now and no $1 billion deals this week.
No billion. Only 124 million.
Yeah. Right.
But, the thing, I got like 7 items. 3 of them involve Blue Origin.
Yeah.
And 2 involve China.
Yep.
That doesn't leave much.
Yeah.
So here we go. So let's get it done. Let's start with Blue Origin. I guess they are going to be. They're only flying their 3rd New Glenn soon, and they're already reusing the booster.
Yeah. Wild.
SpaceX didn't do that. They like to fly and break things, and then finally, come around and get it right. These guys work, and they don't test. They test, but they test quietly, and they just keep iterating it, in the computer over and over and over until they figure they finally got it. And their first flight, it was just like, okay, let's land a booster. And now it's our 3rd flight. Let's reuse the booster.
Yeah. Right.
It feels like a tortoise and hare kind of thing. In a way.
Yeah.
It's still up in the air whether they are, no pun intended, whether they can catch up in any significant way.
Yeah.
Economically with SpaceX, they have such a lead, but I wouldn't count them out either.
No,
who knows? Who knows?
How many times you're sick of me hearing that I say it's my favorite space company, and their motto and their shield is a tortoise. They have a tortoise on their and their motto is highfalutin Latin. It's gradatim ferociter, step by step slowly. That's your motto. Like I don't think that's what I would be putting out there. That's not how I would operate. But
especially with the commitment you made to the rest of the world just recently. No, a tortoise will not be your symbol.
That's not going to work. Right. It's not going to work at all. So I love these guys, but I do, when you talk about tortoise and hare, I'm like, all right, now it's time to turn up the heat, y'all. I'm shocked that happened as quick as it did. I mean, I think that's great. We were talking to our guest Joe before the show, and he's like, if it were me, I would take that thing apart and do a complete forensic analysis, which maybe they did, right? Maybe they did. They just did it faster than other people. Yeah.
Well, even with that, both those guys, so they keep doing their things. You know how far behind Europe is in all of this. So you think, oh, Blue Origin's not going to catch up. Well, look over there. Look at who's really not going to catch up anytime soon. Come on. Come on. It's all America all the time. Bring it, guys. Let's go, right?
They just had to merge 3 of their old space companies just to stay in the market.
Yes.
So talk about a death knell. Yeah.
Well, Northrop Grumman did that a few years ago. They picked up Orbital ATK. Orbital is one of the companies that came out of COTS. That was the other one, Orbital Sciences. They came out of COTS. Okay. Then they merged with ATK, so ATK would have certain skills. And they got really, really good at what they did so bad. They were so competitive against Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman bought them all and still kept them as a separate unit, Northrop Innovation, so they wouldn't lose that culture of winning.
Right.
And that's what they're still doing today. So that's how they stay in it.
Yeah.
But then you're right. These 3 other guys are going, we can't handle it. We just can't do this until we.
Right.
It's Yeah. But then, their Blue Origin is not completely, out of the woods. They still have an issue with their wastewater draft permit in Florida. They can't get their facility going until they can convince the Florida authorities they're doing all the right things environmentally. And they're just stuck. They're supposed to have a new meeting. This has been going on for months now.
Months.
They haven't done it yet. Brevard County, industrial wastewater permit renewal. It's all up in the air. The whole thing could be stopped by some county commissioner somewhere.
And the thing that kills me is it's a renewal. They've already gotten permission for this. Yeah. But it became internet fodder, and they got 46,000 signatures in protest. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
I know. But then they did a good thing. It just happened to be Blue Origin. But the next thing up is just an example. I want to show an example tonight. I found this interesting little thing. And it was about Blue Origin is doing an expansion at Huntsville. Now, it's not huge, but it means 105 new jobs starting at $47 an hour.
Yeah.
The Huntsville area.
Yeah.
And there's this other company, SOX, I don't know what it is, some kind of SXP or something. There's some other company that's also adding another 400 jobs to the area, high-paying jobs. So they're not. I didn't mention them because they're a tech company, not a space company. So, but the point is, when these sectors come to a place like Huntsville, it really prospers. And when our sector goes anywhere, this is why we do what we do, because we want to make more companies like this. And so they'll create all sorts of great high-paying jobs for Americans, and especially, and just make the whole world brighter.
The multiplier effect of that many people and that much new money, that helps the dog walkers and the barbershops and the local restaurants. Like that's a big deal. I've participated in 2 different economic development deals. One was pretty successful and one was pretty abysmal, but it's a big step for Blue and good for them. And if they'd have done that kind of deal over in Florida, they might not have the same problem they're having with that water commissioner, right? Like, that is connected, right?
Yeah,
that is connected there.
Regulatory matters, even at the local county level.
Yeah.
And they're finding that out.
Yeah, a $70 million expansion, 105 employees, average price about $50 an hour. That is not trivial, and that's going to be a big deal for Huntsville. So
somebody can buy a house now because of that.
Yeah.
That's something. A family can buy a house. So that's good, and we're doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. Okay, 2 things from China. First, there is a Chinese startup apparently that wants to emulate Blue Origin and to make their own version of New Glenn and do suborbital tourism. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. They haven't raised huge amounts of money, but they're quite ambitious. And the guy says a $3 million. I can't remember the exchange rate with the yuan, but right now the ticket's about $3 million, but they hope to get it down to 30,000 someday.
That's pretty close to $600,000 US.
Okay, all right.
For the current price,
Okay, so take 2 zeros off of that, and that's their goal. Which would be absolutely amazing if they could do it. Good for them. Good for them. That would be kind of funny though. All of a sudden you see a bunch of Americans and Europeans getting on planes and going to China so they can afford to take their flight, which they can't afford from Blue Origin here in this country. Because they were supposed to start like $250,000 or something, and it's not. It's not even close to that. So you got that going. And finally, there's this guy. There is a guy. They have Hollywood movie stars and celebrities, just like everybody else. And one of them, who has enough money, he wants to be the first celebrity space tourist. So he can pay the $3 million easily, or maybe more.
He wants
to see the world from orbit. He wants to go all the way to orbit.
Yeah, they're looking at about $430,000 for that ticket, a 10% deposit. In the other article, they said they had they have 20 confirmed passengers. So what is that? 43 times 20. That's a couple $1,000,000. Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not bad for a press release and some viral marketing. Good luck to them. I think this is one of their actors that was in I think it's called Moving Earth. Wandering Earth. Wandering Earth.
Wandering Earth. I've seen
them. Yeah.
They're actually quite good.
They are. They're really quite good. They're top notch. I like the second one better because if you want to see a masterful destruction, spoiler alert, if you want to see a masterful destruction of a space elevator coming down, the first 7 minutes of that movie are epic.
Yeah.
They're epic.
It's not. Yeah. Don't let this happen to you.
Right.
Be showing that clip, when you're doing your promotion.
Yeah.
This will not happen with us.
This will not happen. Fingers crossed.
We guarantee it.
Right. Yeah. So that's cool. I love that these guys are doing that. And, Sean and I, and to a lesser degree, you and I have had some interesting conversations about space tourism. I have always been negative on space tourism. I don't see it, but last year, Dr. Lee told me some stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm still negative, but I'm inching towards positive.
Here's the thing. Pascal Lee said that right in front of us during our live podcast that day.
Yeah.
And so we were all going,
okay.
I didn't expect to hear that come from him.
No, I did not.
I got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, right. Right. So I don't have a lot of confidence in a Chinese or any space tourism company, but I believe in point-to-point suborbital. So that's the thing that's going to make everything work. Yeah.
It could absolutely.
So, fingers crossed for them.
I saw Jason here just said that Blue acquired Honeybee Robotics.
They did, but they acquired it 2 years ago, Jason.
Yeah.
Sorry to be catch up late to the party, but that happened quite a while ago. And it was focused on their lunar drilling capability. But they kept them as a wholly owned subsidiary that is not necessarily beholden to the Blue infrastructure. I think that's how that played out. It's been probably a year since I've looked into that one, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, and Dr. Plot is asking, what did Dr. Lee say? He was really pointing towards Antarctica and how they have a hugely established tourism business. It's carefully regulated, but those tour ships pull up and 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people walk off and stomp up to hang out with the penguins. So I've not looked into this, but he was making the claim that there's a lot of similarities to space tourism writ large, and that there's a market for it, because he's like, those trips are $5, $10, $15, $25,000 per person on those trips. And when you start adding those kind of numbers up, the space tourism market gets a little closer in my book. So
okay.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we can leave this worst ever news segment and hope next time will be better. And we're going to bring our guest Joe Latrell from Quub Inc. He is a great guy. I guess we just caught it in time because while we were talking, he lost all his sound. Then he bailed out completely and then came back in, and Yeah. And here's Sean saying, "This is the first time I got you guys to let it go in time."
We are kind of famous
well, our
for
view,
that.
okay. This is we want to get more. We want more of Joe. So come on in, man.
All right, cool. And Dr. Pla's got a comment, and I completely agree with this. Tourists are very price sensitive. Absolutely. Large numbers of people in a single launch of fully reusable Starship. There could be a large demand. I'm willing to concede that Starship does change my equation, but I made those decisions about what I believed about tourism long before Starship was ever in the pipeline. So what I'm really worried about, and the thing that still bothers me, like we saw it play out a little bit with Blue, how they had kind of a social disaster when they sent up that crew with Katy Perry, and the disorientation that William Shatner had when he came out. If somebody, quote unquote, famous dies in this kind of testing phase, I think it's going to have a much larger impact on our nascent industry. So,
I guess that raises the question: what famous people do you not like?
Oh, I probably have a list. So
yeah, right, we'll get them to go. You go.
Right.
This will be great. This will be great for your career. Here, go get on this. Get on the spaceship.
The joke is always send the space lawyers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right out of Shakespeare. Yes, absolutely.
Right,
Joe, how the hell are you, man?
Yes.
Are you
doing all right, guys?
Behind?
Yeah, I just the whole thing with tourism is you got to have a place to go. I mean, imagine getting on a cruise ship, going out into the ocean, going around for a circle, and coming back and calling it a day. That doesn't work. So,
which I think is you're absolutely correct about it. But when you look at the places a lot of these cruise ships actually go, I'm not taking that ride. That looks horrible.
I've watched them. Like, okay, what it looks to me like is that it's a good solid 45-minute roller coaster, right? You start here, circle, space, and then parachute back down, right? Which is cool. And if you build it as a really cool roller coaster, cool. But I don't.
For me, it'd be like a train. That's a training ride for the real thing,
right? Yeah. And I really want to. I think it's a necessary precursor to point. I don't see how we get to point travel without it. So I don't want to like run it down. And I'm glad that China is looking into it. I think that's a big deal. I think that's good for the industry to have China looking at it. So anyway,
now don't get me wrong. If I were given the opportunity and somebody said, "Hey, here, you want to go?" Oh, I'm going.
I hear you. Absolutely. I'm not getting any younger, so it's like, hey. But Shatner was 90, and so I'm still thinking there's still hope for me.
Right. We got time.
I still think the worst thing that could happen to the industry is somebody famous does go, and instead of dying, when they come back and they say, "How was the experience?" they just say, "Nah, not worth it."
Right.
That would be devastating.
Joe Prostrudo, I always forget this, but he was an early guy in X-Corps, and he took a MiG flight, which honestly, that sounds super fun. That does. Even if I hurled, that would still be good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's focus in on Joe, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about Joe for a while. I know you're doing a lot of stuff, so tell us about all the stuff you're doing.
Oh, well, we're still busy with our optical developments, but there was an epiphany, and we can thank Michael here for it. He's the one who put me down this path. And it turns out that we see a very large demand for essentially on-demand payload for material sciences, for chemistry, biological sciences that right now is just very difficult to do and expensive to do. And we're looking at it and like, well, we could box this all up. We have the same amount of space that the optical payload would take. It's a module. So let's just take that module out. Let's put in a payload module, add the cameras looking inward instead of outward, and we can do all of the same things that you would do on ISS, only in miniature form for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
That sounds vaguely important.
Yeah. So we jumped on it, and one of the first things we're doing is a test for LiftPort. We've converted our entire optical system, and I can't show you the optical because I yanked it out, and that goes in the clean room. But this is I'm just going to show this real quick, if that's all right.
Sure.
This is a micro gearing system for testing tensile strengths of materials in space. So we use the windows that we already had, and we expose it directly to the space environment. There's no shelter for what's happening in here. So it gets full sun. Then we can rotate the satellite, gets full shade, and just cycle it through what materials would experience in space, and then send back the results, including imagery and video and whatever else needs to be done. And these are, I can't say the price off the top of my head because it varies depending upon what you're doing, but this is cheap compared to what can be done.
I was pretty surprised. I'm not going to try to push you towards the bottom end of the market, but I was pretty happy and pretty surprised. So satisfied customer on my side.
And sensors are becoming small enough, light enough, and inexpensive enough to where this is going to become the standard. And graphene-based sensors, while a little more expensive, are incredibly robust and very tiny. So what we can do now in call it a 2 inch by 2 inch by 2 inch space is so amazing compared to what we could do even 10 years ago that we're going to jump in on this market.
Cool. And the thing you showed us, you made that in-house in your 3D printer, I presume?
Yep. Remember that little printer that you guys so graciously gave us the grant for?
Right.
That made this.
Here we go. Well, hey, may you make millions off of what you're doing.
And
that printer.
I
love that story.
It creeps. This is capable of snapping materials in space, even unsnappable ones. And it moves at a 400-to-1 gear ratio. It takes 5 minutes to actually go the entire travel distance, and we can adjust the tension anywhere we want in between there and measure everything using various load sensors. It's pretty cool.
Cool. So, now, Jason is asking, will the test be to failure?
So I'm going to ask for that one. I'm going to answer that one a little bit.
Okay.
What we asked him for was 10 strings. Half of them are going to be in sunshine and half of them are going to be in shade. And it's a 3-year mission. So we'll push 2 of them. It's 6 months and a year, and then kind of break them out over the next couple, every 6 months or so. We will probably break some of them, and we'll keep some in unstressed. So we'll have some experimental, and we'll have some that are controls. And for us, as far as we know, this represents the first in-space string experiment for a space elevator of any kind. And this show is not about us or what we're doing, but you can imagine I'm pretty excited about it. There were some tether experiments back during the shuttle days, and there's Europe especially did a couple experiments that were pretty interesting. But this is different, and our down select process, our decision matrix tool, we think is pretty deep and detailed about how we pick this stuff. So we're really relying on Joe to build out the hardware for it. And damn excited about this partnership. So thank you, Joe. I love this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Veronica is asking us how many actual experiments will be within the module that you're launching.
For this module, there'll be 10 strands. For any chemical or for mechanical, we can do various things. It's usually the volume is the problem. For chemical, we could probably do 5 experiments, either simultaneous or on a timed system. We're looking at incorporating a very high megapixel camera inside this, so lots of details will be visible. And maybe using some of the telescope technology we're looking at, we can invert that and turn it into, we can look at microscopic level elements in space, which would be really cool.
That's going to be fun.
It is. And let's kind of dig into, like, this is a new business model for Quub, right? They'd spent all this time on the kind of spectrum side of the business, the ones and zeros side of the business. And then when I'm like, hey, can you test this hardware? It suddenly opened up that there's a multi-year backlog of hardware testing. And so if he can just fit it inside his box, it's a game changer for him. So I'm very hopeful that plays out that way.
Yep, that's the best way to say it. It's like there is a huge untapped market here. And it's inexpensive enough to where even in some cases high school students could run experiments, physical experiments in space. So imagine that PhD candidate who wants to get real data instead of just simulated data.
Right.
Here you go.
And in a lot of different disciplines too, like agriculture and molecular biology and all sorts of things.
Yep, micro enclosed ecosystems. There's lots of things. You can. I would say the sky's the limit. Our focus is going to be on materials to start with, but materials followed by chemical, followed by environmental. So that's the plan.
Now, you're just doing this all with it? You just opened up the umbrella for Quub to do all this? Okay. Because I didn't know if you'd set up a spin-off company for that part of it, but no, this is all Quub. I get it.
It's all Quub.
Cool.
Yeah. The idea is that we might end up spinning it off eventually, but we're also looking at, all right, so Quub right now, we build our own satellites, we build our own payloads, we build our own deployers. We do all of that. So hardware and software as well as data. So ultimately, those are going to have to split into different companies. So there'll be different versions of Quub. One that just builds satellites and hardware, another one that does just the data. And we see that as the next evolution.
It is great to be ambitious.
Yes, it is.
A time in history to be ambitious, my friend.
But it's finding the right people. And it's all wonderful, great in theory, but putting the nose to the grindstone means finding the people who understand the vision and are willing to be as passionate about it as you are. And that's where we're at now. We're looking for additional folks in material sciences to really push us to the next level.
Veronica's saying, hey, I have experiments that can go up. I worked on 3 types of modules on the last 2 space shuttle missions. So
I would say, let's chat.
You can do it. There you go. If you want, V, we'll put you in touch.
Yeah,
we'll do it.
Great.
Yeah.
The other bit of news that we have is we've completed our deployer that we've been talking about for a long time. Again, using 3D print technology, we've been able to get it incredibly light. So this launches one of our satellites, or essentially 6P of Pocket Quub. So you can have 6 1P, a combination of 2 and 1, 1.5, that sort of thing. But the entire box.
Joe, so we don't. Not all of the people that are listening to this thing or watching this show understand the difference of your form factor versus a standard Quub.
Okay.
So describe that to clear because a lot of people are not going to understand what you're talking about. Right
Gotcha. Okay, so a CubeSat, most folks know what a CubeSat looks like. And if you'll give me a second to step out of frame, hold on.
Okay.
This is the nice thing about having a lab. I've got a little of everything in here. Hold on. All right. All right.
Because I want people to see your Pez dispenser, but they got to know what it starts from.
Okay,
yeah.
So standard 1U CubeSat, right? 10
Right.
centimeters on the side, 4 inches, et cetera, et cetera. Our satellites are based on a 5 centimeter or 2-inch cube. So 1/8 the volume is a single P. Instead of a 1U, we use Ps for Pocket Cube instead of CubeSat. And I get it. But yeah, so 1/8 the volume. And this wasn't even really possible to create anything. Well, same problem the CubeSats had. When the CubeSat form factor came about, everyone complained that it's just a toy. You can't do anything with it. There's not enough space to do real science here. And I remember the early days.
Yep.
Okay. And then along comes the Pocket Cube. And now the CubeSat folks are telling us, well, it's just a toy. You can't do any real science with it. It's too small.
Right.
And the reality is sensors caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the amount of technology you can cram into a 2-inch cube is well above and beyond what we could have done with the full 1U CubeSat even a decade ago. So as one particular songwriter said, the times they are changing. Right? And we can continue to build larger and larger as we get bigger and bigger spacecraft, or we can go smaller and put lots more science into that same volume. Right? If you get it down to $100 per kilogram, that means that you can launch one of our satellites for $50.
My price tag is not that low, ladies and gentlemen, but it's still I'm still pretty happy with it.
Right. It's going to be a while before we get there, but imagine if Starship does come true. I mean, that's what we're talking about. People will be able to go with their own experiments.
Yeah.
So that's the idea.
All right. So now show us your Pez dispenser. Right?
Okay. So this is the Pez dispenser here. So this is the whole thing, and I can't get it all quite in frame. And black is probably the worst color to print this in. We do have a satellite in here. Okay. So there's a 6P satellite in here. And this entire mechanism weighs less than 500 grams.
How many sats can fit in that thing?
One of our 6P or any combination of 6P satellites.
Okay.
So if you have a 1P, we can put 6 of those in here. We can put a 3P on one side, a 1 and a 2 on the other, whatever combination you want.
Right.
And because it's 3D printed, depending upon what the payload is, we can actually change the angle of the rails so that we have zero contact as they eject.
Okay.
Which is a big problem in a lot of cases with CubeSats. If you don't have proper spring separation between them, they bump into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Current Pocket Cubes do the same thing. So you either build robustly or you put springs.
Okay. So I guess the deal is they all fit very nicely inside there, and they stay in there the entire mission. You're not actually deploying these.
Oh no, they go out the door.
Oh, they go. Okay, that's clarify that for everybody.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is a deployer. Its sole function is to carry the satellites safely to orbit with the rocket, and then once they reach their designated departure time, Mission Control sends a signal, and off it goes. Door opens and satellite goes out.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds simple, but even that is incredibly complicated. Most rocket companies don't like you throwing satellites faster than 1 meter per second. Now, you have to think about that. For a big satellite, 1 meter per second is fast.
Right.
Using the first springs we put in this, we were launching at more than 12 meters per second, and that is just not acceptable. That kind of force will throw the trajectory of the upper stage off.
And you'll tumble.
And then we'll tumble. So yeah, there's a lot of math to it. When people talk about, oh, it's not rocket science. No, this is rocket engineering.
Right.
Okay. The science is figured out. This is rocket engineering. And in some cases, I think the engineering is harder than the science.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're taking a concept and moving it into reality. So, and that's what we're doing. I mean, we've got all these things happening. It's because of, folks like what you guys are doing at the center, and Michael taking a risk on us with building payload, and now we got a whole new business model, and we're exploiting it. We have customers, and we have launches, and we have things going on, and it's like,
let's talk about launches.
Yeah. Yes. We're scheduled to go on InnoSpace on their second flight.
Describe InnoSpace, because that's not a name everybody knows.
Oh, InnoSpace. InnoSpace is kind of like a rocket lab. They're based out of South Korea. They're one of the few private companies in South Korea that are working on rockets. They have launch facilities in Brazil, and they are working on a launch facility, I believe, in the Canary Islands as well. So their home country in South Korea. So they're busy building and getting things ready to go for flight. And I'm impressed with what they're doing. They've got a good engineering team behind them. They suffered the same fate that most private companies have, and that is the first rocket just doesn't quite get there.
Right.
But they were quick to identify the problem. They've put the fix in place, and I'm confident that when they launch the second time, they will make orbit, and then we will have payload on orbit.
Yay!
Start getting data. And
so May is kind of the target date. When do you think it's actually going to fly? Should we pencil in our calendars for May, or just be hopeful?
I would say be hopeful. May is going to be when it goes, but how many rocket schedules have actually hit target in those first few flights? Most of them do creep to the right, and it's like you just have to have that expectation. Yes, it's going to creep to the right a little bit. Be ready to go on the day they say, but just be advised it could be longer. But yeah. Are they going to launch this year? That I know they will do. They will launch again this year, probably 2 more times. So that's the hope.
Okay. Dr. Doug has a question. He says, what will be the most likely, most profitable common use of these very small sats?
The most profitable use for a small satellite?
Building on your business model.
Is to do the impossible.
Okay.
That's where I think the profitability is going to be. They're inexpensive enough that you can now dream up things that we haven't thought of before. Case in point, personal computers had kind of sort of been around for a while during the 70s. All right. But what really made personal computing take off was the killer app. And that killer app was the spreadsheet. VisiCalc is what made computers desirable in the small business environment. Up until then,
got started.
That's how it all got started, right? It's like that's it.
Lotus 1, 2, 3 for me. Yep.
VisiCalc, Lotus 1, 2, 3, all the various tools that let you do things in small business led to this. And we to this day still do not have the killer app for space. And we've watched it bounce around. First, it was going to be, imaging. Then it was, we're going to do space solar power. Then it was, we're going to build this. And now the current trend is data centers in space. And if you can solve the technical hurdles, that'll be a fantastic industry. If you can solve the technical hurdles, you can tell where I sit. Profitability is going to come by doing novel. What hasn't been done before? What could lead to the iPhone? And let's face it, again, we had cell phones. Everybody had cell phones. BlackBerry was the most popular cell phone at the time. Then this comes along, and BlackBerry is like infotainment centers in cars now.
Right. I'm going to tell a quick story. More you'll know this guy. Dr. Pete Swan used to run the International Space Elevator Consortium. And he did a seminar or study. I don't exactly know how formal it was, but he asked people to come up with what they would do if launch prices were basically zero, basically free, right? $100 a pound or less or something like that. And the story he tells, and I'm butchering it, but I'm trying my best, is people would send old junker cars up to just high enough to push them off the edge of the elevator so they would fall back to earth at a very specific time and place. So for your birthday, you could have a shooting star, or if you're going to do your proposal, then the shooting star crosses the horizon. Like, that's the kind of thing that's like crazy, but also technologically possible when you have some of this tech. I do want to point out, in answering your question, Doug, Jeff Mamber about 15 or 18 years ago was just getting started with his ejection system, Pez dispenser on the ISS of CubeSats. Everybody was really skeptical, but he was able to get a bunch of hardware up on the ISS pretty early. And that company is now called Voyager, and it's a multi-billion-dollar organization. So it's hard to say exactly, but Latrell is just following what Mamber's already done at some very basic level. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I see Veronica's got some messages here. It's like, okay, the first one she's talking about, that was our business model that we've been following and continue to follow. The second one is our new business development with inside Quub. So yeah, she nailed it.
Not watching, I'm going to put them up on the screen and talk about them. How to monetize cell process imagery to agritech platforms, offer subscription data, disaster management. That's what they've been currently doing. And then next one is cell connectivity to IoT devices, operators partner with logistics, maritime, etc. So that's it.
Yeah. One of our customers that we were working with, we have an agreement with them. I can't get into too much detail, but I will say it has to do with monitoring explosives.
Okay.
Mining operations that are deviating from the initial plan can be monitored very quickly from space. So there's one little area is like, why didn't anybody think of doing this before?
Is that piracy related?
No, it's not. It's actually environmental monitoring. Just to keep certain folks from doing things that they don't intend, that they are doing that is not intentional. Let's leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
I'm trying to be very political without.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. And Alexander, I don't know you, but hi, welcome to the show. I've actually had concerns about elevators having satellite collisions for years, which is why I stopped working on the Earth elevator. All right, so Joe, what's kind of next, right? So there's my plan, what you're doing with us as your customer. What is kind of on the to-do list?
Our next step, like I said, this is a modular system, right? So I want to be able to have modules that someone calls up and says, we want to do experiment XYZ, whatever it be. All right. Well, here's the interface to talk to the computer that's on board. That's all an API. You tell us what you need. We'll get that written up. But here's the box. This is how much space you have to work with. Rough in your experiment into that box, send it back to us, and then we'll look at the viability of it, whether or not it needs further development or whether or not it's ready to go. And then we can start running it through qualification testing and get it mounted into a satellite and ready to go. So the next part is to build a kit. But space should be so simple that it's, you pick up the phone, or in this case, the internet, you go fill out a web form, zip tang your credit card, you get a box. use the box, build whatever it is you want in the box, send it back, put it through qualification, and get it launched. That's what we're working on next, is getting that to where it is commoditized. Like
it's just a damned amazing business. That's incredible. I love it. I love it.
What do you want to put in the box? All right. At that point is what would you put in the box? You have a box that can go to space.
Mm-hmm.
What would you put in it? And viable question.
I'm putting string. So
yeah, you're putting string.
Checkbox.
Some people will put a memento, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, right. John Powell from what's his company's name? I can't think.
JP Aerospace.
JP Aerospace. Right. Yeah. Like he's made a real business about taking ping pong balls to 100,000 feet, right? And he'll put several thousand ping pong balls on his flights to 100,000 feet.
And a lot of them are done by students, like grade school kids even. They're called pong sats also.
Pong sats.
And a couple times a year he launches those. And
Yep. And so you're kind of doing the pong sat model, but actually going to orbit.
Yep. I've actually sent several pong sats up. Put a whole bunch of photos on an SD card, and then we packed it in there with a little Lego space minifig and launched that up. So that was kind of fun to do. It's like, what type of experiment do you want to do? My future son-in-law, my wife and my daughter's fiance, he's a chemical engineer. There are several things he would like to try in space. I was like, well, let's write it up. Let's see what you can do. Let's get this built and into space and do it inexpensively. And what can cancer research do if you could launch one of or dozens of these and expose them to different environments, all by adjusting how the windows and such are applied? That you can do things that can't be done on Earth.
So let's back up a step. So to get one of these little things to fly and put your own thing in it, what's the cost?
We're looking at, if it's just the cost is the satellite and the launch. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that that's going to be under $100,000 for the entire science payload.
Okay.
So that's the goal. And I want to get that down even further. If Starship does in fact lower the cost of launching these, then these will be a kit that you buy for $79.95 in the store. That's where we're getting to.
Well, I'm trying to think of something in between where I thought of a thing where, and since we're actually sending real stuff into orbit to get it to launch, we can get the price down. Per little mini cube costs $6,000, let's say, or less.
Yep.
We could probably find a sponsor at the center and do a competition around that.
Oh yeah, easy.
See where I'm going?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I love that.
It just occurred to me, and we run it through our micro grant portal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. That would be so
now another incentive to get the price down, Joe.
Right. Yep. Okay. We can get the price down. But the biggest cost right now is the launch. That's what really hurts. The equipment itself, the prices continue to crash.
Yeah.
Jason is asking about like the service itself, and to me that's telemetry. But what is kind of included in the box? Because that was one of the first questions I asked.
Yep. So inside the box is where you're going to put the physical experiment, but what comes with it is a dashboard. So you can actually monitor your experiment from space. All right, that's all software. That's all API, and like 90% of that was already written because we use it for talking to our own satellites. So it wasn't hard to add a couple of more commands into the API stream. And you would log into the dashboard, and you can check on your experiment. You can order the satellite to do things to your experiment as well. So like, let's say you want to take pictures at a different interval now because something exciting is happening. Mm-hmm. Go to your dashboard, tell it to change the interval. And the next pass, when it connects to our ground station, it sends the information up. We get the information down. Yeah, that's what comes with it, is you're going to have access like that to be able to monitor your own stuff.
Cameras pointing both directions, so that's really great. I'm going to talk about my experiment for a second. Cameras, look, watching paint dry is too exciting for me. Watching grass grow is too exciting for me. This is even going to be even more boring, even more dull than paint drying or grass growing, right? Because it's going to be 6 months before we turn the screws enough to snap a string. Right. But the whole time, we're going to have cameras on it. We're going to have, communications with it. And that's important, right? That's us validating what we're doing. So,
I just wanted to say, kind of interesting what you said there, because even back in the Apollo days, the early astronauts, the first groups, would often describe their experience as hours and days of boredom, punctuated by moments of sheer panic. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Imagine like for some of these experiments that we're looking at, it's like, all right, so we've got this string under tension. What happens if it starts flaking in a way you weren't expecting? What's causing that? Then you're going to be pouring through that data going, okay, what changed to cause that to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it looks like paint drying, but then suddenly that paint becomes, oh my goodness, what's going on now? Let's get moving.
We've got so many things we have to deal with now. Full disclosure, we're going to sun synchronous orbit. That's not a great analogy for where we need to go to L1, but the price was right, and it was a stepping stone, right? It was the first thing that we could do that we could actually do. But we've got radiation, we've got creep, we've got UV ultraviolet, we've got atomic oxygen, coronal mass ejections if things go really bad. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong with this string. We're not going to be able to test every single piece of it on our very first flight, but we do get to test a lot of it. And that data is super important. And I'm there's a couple things I am worried about, and I want it to be boring, but if it's not boring, that's also super useful information. So
yeah. And think about it. When you're doing this, all right, so you've got this grand idea, like this space elevator, the lunar elevator, which I am all for, by the way. I really think that is where we need to be going. Mm-hmm. But you can't just go and put an elevator on the moon. You got to do those little steps. Well, the lower the cost of doing those steps, the easier it is to get to that final decision. So, all right, there's a lot of stuff that can be done in the lab, especially with chemical sciences.
Yeah, right.
But eventually, you've got to take it to the next level. Yeah. And if you can do that inexpensively and do a couple of these experiments, then you can justify, hey, look, we've proven that we've gone from this step to this step to this step to this step. This next step, that's 10 times more costs.
Right.
We need to raise money here.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so we only have a couple minutes left, and what I want to do is because we're doing a business track at ISDC in June. You guys are signing up, and you're going to be kind of a tag team. I'm going to put you both together, Liftport and Joe, but technically you're a tag team. You got an hour between you. What you do when you're behind the podium? I need 2 different applications from you guys. What you do when you're behind the podium on game day is up to you. You got an hour. Do what you want to do. But I wonder if you would give our listeners a tease of what that's going to be all about and encourage people to come to ISDC.
Yeah, definitely come to ISDC for sure. We've got a great track. We've got a great track every year. Tom's done a good job of bringing interesting folks. Joe and I have kind of talked about this. We'll do 15 minutes. It's really Liftport centric, focused on the elevator. 15 minutes. It's really Quub centric, focused on his satellites. But then we've got another 30 minutes of think about the timing. If our flight happens in May, we have a lot to talk about in June.
Right? Wild films.
Yeah. roll the tape, right?
Yeah, and we'll have copies of the hardware for people to actually pick up, heft in your hand, see how it works.
Yep.
We'll have the dashboard running so people can look at things. Going to be some cool stuff.
It'll be good.
I am so looking forward to that. But please get your formal abstracts in sooner than later. Don't make me wait till April 1st because I gotta have because I only have till April 15th to get it all ready for publication.
Gotcha.
So for the formal printout of the schedule, and so get back to me as soon as you can on that. And on that note, Sean is yelling at us again. It's time to close it down, but the time has gone by too fast yet again. Joe Latrell at Quub, is so nice to have you here, and we'll be doing this again, and we're going to see you in June at ISDC, and you'll have more wonderful things to tell.
Yep. Thanks so much for having me here, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take care.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Yep. Okay, our guest Thursday is Space Policy Specialist from the Space Frontier Foundation, Aaron Osterly. There's a lot of new initiatives going on in the area of space policy. I just went to one of those meetings just last week to see what was going on. It's like, wow, my eyes are like this. And so I can't wait to have him on here. We're going to talk about all that. Some exciting times ahead. And so we'll see you then. As always, 8 p.m. Eastern. And for Michael Lane and Sean Key and the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, I remain Thomas Andrew Olson. Keep watching the skies.